Hello. So today we're going to be talking about those moments when you do not know what to do with your arms or with your body. And usually those moments happen mostly when you're auditioning or when you have a smaller part or a part that doesn't have any words or any lines. And so you might be standing there or actually not even knowing how to stand there and wanting to do something with your arms or your hands, but you don't know. And so it feels really uncomfortable and awkward and kind of horrible and sticky because it seems simple and yet you're having all of your energy focused on what am I doing? Like, what should I mean, this is literally how it feels. So there's no words coming out of me because it's making me uncomfortable to like suddenly play this. No, I don't know what to do with my hands or with my body, right? And so the issue is it feels terrible and you're putting all of your thinking on those parts. And so suddenly you're not being the character at all anymore, right? Because you're thinking, what should I do? You're being in yourself. You're not being the character anymore, right? So it's really very uncomfortable. And usually it happens in auditions because when you're on set, it's less likely, except that again, if you have a small part or if you don't have much to say, you might catch yourself in that position again too. So what you might have tried in the past is that you might have planned to do some things, some like interesting things. You might have, decided in advance, okay, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to stand like that, or I'm going to pick up a glass. And yet when you do it, it still doesn't feel organic or free because it's actually fake. It's coming from a place of you deciding what you're going to do in advance. And so it's not happening in the moment. And so it still feels horrible and sticky. So that hasn't worked, right? So what you really do want is to not even think about your arms and your body, right? You want to be in the moment. You want to be enjoying your character. You want to be doing what they're doing. And you don't want to be thinking about those hands and arms and legs and the rest of your body. So if you think of it like in life, if you're really involved in any situation or any moment or discussion with anyone, you're never actually thinking about your arms and the rest of your body. You're just being there, living the moment, but you're not extracting yourself from the moment and thinking about your arms and legs, unless you're playing model, which a lot of people do on Instagram, and then you're trying to look good, right? Or if you're a model yourself and you're actually on a shoot, and then there is a question of aesthetics or the look that they're going for, and the photographer will direct you into actually moving your body parts because that's what it's about. It's about looking good, right? But as an actor, if you're caught up into looking good, you're not really being the character, right? Acting is not about looking good. It's about being real, about being really there, about being authentic, about being you. It's definitely not about looking good, right? Because that's modeling and it's a whole different ball game. So I would say that what's really happening is not that you don't know what to do with your arms and legs. I would say that what's happening is actually an alarm signal. If you're catching yourself often in that moment of, what do I do with my arms? How do I stand? What do I do with my whole body? It's a red flag. It's an alarm that your system is sending you that you're actually not present. Because if you are acting, if you are being the character, you wouldn't be thinking about those things. So again, in life, when you're really engaged, really present, really involved and busy with something or someone, there's no room for you to think about your hands and the rest of your body. So what's happening is not, oh, I have a problem, I never know what to do with my arms and legs. No, what's happening is I'm not present. And because I'm not present and busy defending the character, then I'm in my ego. I'm in, what do I look like? I want to look good. I want them to like me. I want them to love me. And therefore, you're not present. You're putting your attention in the expectation of what other people want from you and the hope that they will love you, which has nothing to do with the story at stake, which has nothing to do with your character who's in the middle of living a moment, trying to get something, and you being able to open up and be there for them and do that, right? So again, the problem is not that you don't know what to do with your arms and legs and that you should know. The problem is that you're not actually there. You're not open and you're not concerned with your character's needs. You're in your ego. You're wanting to look good, be right, be liked, book the part. And that has nothing to do with your job description, right? You're not a model. You're not there to look good. You're there to tell a story, and not yours, not your ego's, but the character's story, right? So if you're not in character, why is that happening? Why are you stuck in your ego and worried about how you looked and will people love me? You're stuck in that, well, because the culture is pretty much stuck in that, but the culture's been stuck in that for a very long time. So you were conditioned, if you think of it in your family, in your school system, and in the rest of the culture, and more in this like culture of Facebook, Instagram, and posting pictures of you that look good so that people will like you. This is really what the culture is about. You have been conditioned, trained for as long as you were born to actually do things for others. If not, you wouldn't get the safety back from your parents or the love back from your parents or the validation from your school teachers and peers. So you have been conditioned, you've been programmed, educated, wired to do as you're told, to be like others, to behave like you're told, to think like you're told, to feel like others and like you're told. So you've never been raised to actually be authentically you, right? So I'm saying when you're catching yourself trying to look good, it's definitely something you don't want to do because it's really shallow, it doesn't make you feel good, and it's definitely not helping your character or the story. And what I'm wanting you to hear is that it's not your fault. There's nothing wrong with you. You've just been dragged by a whole culture that is trying to look good. But none of that is authentic. None of that is fulfilling. None of that is deep, true, and free. None of that is artistic. In my opinion, it's pretty desperate, right? So what you want to do is make sure that you undo the conditioning, right? That you see through all of that you see through the fact that you have been educated to really behave a certain way so that others would like you, and that when you do that, you are not present. It's only like a superficial layer of you trying to get other people's attention. It's a desperate layer of you. It's not what you really have to offer. It's not your artist. It's not your uniqueness. It's nothing. It's none of the parts that are actually interesting in you. So the way to access that artist and that uniqueness and that freedom and that openness that you can give to the character and to the story is really to be interested in what you are feeling and sensing. To be interested in your character and what they are going through and how that relates to you, rather than trying to be interesting. The second you're trying to be interesting, you're falling into the trap of the culture, which is, I'm taking a selfie and I'm trying to look good and I'm trying to get a lot of likes. You're beyond that. Everyone's beyond that. For some reason, the culture is still stuck in there because that's how we're educated. But as storytellers, your responsibility is to see through that and offer your humanity, not your looking good. Who cares about looking good? You have something much more interesting. You have your truth, you have your humanity, your authenticity, your freedom. And when you can offer that in your instrument for your character, and therefore actually be interested in what they are going through and not trying to be interesting, you won't have a split second thinking about your arms and your body and what to do with them, because you'll actually be busy living something. And when you're busy actually authentically living something, you're not worried about how you look, because your whole instrument is following what you're doing, is following your engagement, is following your presence. You're becoming one whole and complete entity, right? When you're trying to look good, you're nowhere. You're scattered, you're desperate, and you're just trying to grab onto whatever you could to get a little bit of recognition or love. You don't want that for your life or for your art, right? There's something much, much juicier for you to discover. So again, in the work that we do, that we call the reset, we help actors undo that conditioning, reconnect with their instinct and their freedom, so that they can show up for the character and they can defend the character, right? And therefore, we never talk about arms and how to stand, because that's completely irrelevant, and it's happening organically. Oh, and we'll definitely post a link to our wait list if this work resonates, and if you want to find out more, please let us know in the comments. But we'll also put a link so that you can sign up to get on the wait list for the reset journey. All right, thank you guys. Bye.